Hello, everyone. This is Winnipeg Community for Safety meeting. Today's date is May 23rd, 2024. It is just a little bit after 5:07, I believe. Right now, I'm the chairperson, Councillor Dobson. With us today, we have Abby, Jesse, Barclay, Jessica, and that means we have quorum. Our coordinator, Tracy Proctor, is here, and from the public service, we have Danae and Inspector Kevin Riel. And our clerks are Lorraine and Jennifer. I would like to read the land and water acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of Anishinaabe, Innu, and Dakota peoples, and then the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation and Treaty 3 territory. And right now, if I could have someone to bring a motion forward to approve the April 8th meeting.
Barclay, we're going to take that as a hands up. Okay, thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now, a verbal report from myself, I believe. The first thing I would like to point out that in St. James we had an event and while at the Holiday Inn in response to the evacuation at 2440 Portage Avenue, I was quite proud to see our very own Danae as part of the city team helping the residents. It was quite apparent looking at everyone that you made a difference and you helped a lot of people. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, don't think just me. It was a large team, not just myself that was there. So, and my colleagues are still working very hard to support those residents.
Yes,
so.
yes. But I just thought, you're part of our team.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just,
Someone we know in person.
someone we actually know. And so that would be my verbal report. Item number 2. And who would like to speak to
I can speak to that. In about a month ago, Narendra Maher, the second longest standing member of the Winnipeg Committee for Safety, has tenured his resignation, and he is sad to leave. His term is not at its end yet, but he's recently had a new granddaughter arrive at his family, but lives in the United States, and so he sees now that he's going to be traveling there a lot, and I think he actually has 3 daughters and they all live in the US. So he just thought it would be kinder to us to resign and free himself up to travel more. And so yeah, I just want to, say that he's been a good committee member. He's started in July 2015 and just resigned in April. So that's, getting close to the 10-year mark. And I always enjoyed that Narendra is, quick to speak up in support of things and would always ask, questions when he, wondered about something. He didn't want to just make a decision without being sure what we were, going to do about something. And yeah, he's a very, very supportive member. So we'll miss him, but we wish him all the best and thank him for his service on the committee.
And congratulations for his grandchild.
Yes, and that too.
Is that a picture I can circulate later?
Oh, that's
Okay.
Yes.
Do we need a motion to receive this as
It's to
information?
receive it as information, but maybe we could just let everyone know.
Yes.
If you look at item 2 on your agenda, it tells us whose terms are coming up for renewal. So Abby, your term, Jesse, Barclay, and Sarah, your terms expire December 31st. You are eligible to reapply, but if for some reason you think that that's not going to work out for you for the next few years, if you could let us know, because the recruitment process starts in August of 2024 is when we start seeking applications. And then the remainder of the members, their terms expire in 2025, but we will fill our vacancies when we seek applications this go around. So that's all.
And I would add to that, I don't want anyone to resign, but to say that, you know, if we have these vacancies that, you know, especially if you're, you know, out working in the community and, you know, have lots of contacts, that if you know someone that you think would be a good fit for the community and could be valuable to us, you know, encourage them to join up. And when that information comes out, I'll make sure everyone gets it so that they can conduct themselves accordingly, as well as refer someone if they know of someone that could be a good member.
Thank you. So just to receive this update is information someone? Oh,
There's a
just,
motion.
thank
All
you.
those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay. The feel good one comes next.
All right.
Item number 3, just slow down signs.
Yes, I was gonna say, you're the one that found them. Yeah, we had a lucky find. Councillor Dobson found 125 of the just slow down signs in the print shop here in City Hall that I don't know if anyone knew they were there, but when we had discussion a few months ago about producing more signs and realizing we didn't have the budget to do that, we still don't, but at least now we have some signs. And last week, Danae and I had a discussion about since, you know, that will probably be the final amount of signs for a while, because the city does not want to produce more for any reason. So if you know, if we wanted to look at the signs, you know, in a little bit of maybe a targeted way and say, you know, maybe there's some community organizations we could approach, or you know, look at events or places where the signs could be, you know, useful to give out, or we can just hang on to them and let them run their natural course. I did change the wording on our webpage to say that that like we still have signs, but I also added the CAA information on there too, so that they could see that there's 2 choices for them to get signs if they want. So I don't know if it's something like, do we want to discuss what we think we should do with the signs, or just like keep going as we have been, or anyone have any thoughts about it?
So what do we think? Should we be pursuing getting more signs down the road? Do you think they're very effective in the communities on the sides of the roads, just so make people aware that there's children on the street?
I think that they're very effective. How many signs did you say that you had?
125-ish. The only thing I of course when I saw it, I should have kept track of where I saw it, but I did see a map when I was meeting with Rebecca Paterniak, yeah, of kind of roughly where the signs were distributed, or that the city had, you know, pinpointed them. And so some neighborhoods and communities have a lot of the signs. Others, like for example, my North End area has very few signs. Yet is an area that has a high population of children. I would want to see more signs in my community, but I think, you know, as it would go, people randomly wanting the signs, it could be a case of if there's more in their community and they're seeing them more, then they might be spurred on. And then other communities where they're not aware of them or seeing them wouldn't, you know, they wouldn't know, maybe even know the signs were available. So, you know, there could be some value to targeting some communities that have less signs. And, you know, but, you know, it like, this is my old MPI road safety person talking. If we wanted to look at where are areas that, you know, that the signs could actually be useful, like, you know, school zones or playgrounds, or, you know, close proximity to things, and maybe look at some, you know, crash statistics or something that would say, you know, this could be an area where we could use some signs. Except it's a bit of work to, well, not terrible, but to look up that information and try and match it up. And then you still have to have someone that wants to take ownership of the sign if it's on their property, so.
You have to understand that a lot of councillors still have signs in their offices. They still have a stack of them. It's just that these signs are not, they're not accounted by any particular councillor, so they're open for us.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no, like, yeah, unfortunately, we don't have data about where all the signs have gone, like from the start of, you know,
Oh, no.
no, there's no, there's no knowledge for sure, but just, yeah, I don't, when I saw that map, I should have kept a copy of it so that I would have a better sense of that, but I could check with Rebecca again. And also the, and when we talked about that, that they are hiring, or do you know if they have hired a person in that department that is gonna do community outreach?
I know that there's a position open now, but it's not filled.
Okay.
I don't know who else they've already maybe hired. So you could connect with Rebecca to see if they want to just distribute them, which would be one avenue if they're going to be engaging with different communities, or the neighborhood renewal corporations definitely would have capacity to handle that.
Yeah, because there's a possibility too that we could work with the neighborhood renewal corporations in the city, and many of them are also attached to the residents associations that fall under their umbrellas, so they would have a good network.
First come, first serve.
Yeah, or, you know, like, yeah, because it would be hard to determine which neighborhoods would have more, but most of the areas where there's, like, those are in more high needs areas than.
Okay, first comes, first serve, is only a small amount at a time.
Yeah,
Or maybe 10 or something to any one group, or 10 or 15 or whatever is you feel is correct. And then a couple of weeks, that same group can ask for more again. You just don't want to give them all away to one group, that's all.
yeah, no, I don't think that.
Okay, good idea.
All right, and then, yeah, like, because I also thought too, it wouldn't hurt for the city's road safety team to know that the signs have been discovered, because when I talked with Rebecca that a while back, we were under the impression there was no signs left, so that was how our discussion kind of went about that.
Thanks.
All right, so are we going to, is any more discussion on this?
I just have a quick question, folks. Is it within our purview to suggest or the criteria wherein those signs are placed to these community groups?
On the website, all we say about it is that they, you know, if a homeowner wants the sign, then they have to, it's to be placed on their property, not on the public boulevard. So,
Okay.
so that's the only, stipulation as far as taking one.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions?
So
Okay,
we-
are we going to receive this as information then? Okay,
Okay,
motion to receive it as information. There we go.
thank you.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Item number 4. Contract renewal for our community coordinator. Not pointing any fingers.
Do I have to leave for this discussion, or
Well,
since we're not making a decision, does it matter?
Well, we're going to submit the recommendation up to EPC, but
Okay.
I guess you could tell the committee or inform the committee if you're planning to stay.
Yes, I'll stay. Yeah, if they'll have me, I'll stay.
Okay. And do you want to have, we don't have a lot of wiggle room for budget, so normally that's when we ask the coordinator to leave. But this is because of our budget being cut.
Mhm.
This is the same salary that Tracy is receiving right now.
Yes, it's not an increase.
No,
Sorry.
yeah. I was nice and thought, why ask?
And it's listed here that the city of Winnipeg entered an agreement to retain Tracy Proctor in the capacity of an independent contractor to provide administrative support services to the Winnipeg Committee for Safety as follows. The contract duration be September 21st, 2024 to September 20th, 2025. And that the fee for service be $50,000 per annum, utilizing funding from the existing Winnipeg Committee for Safety budget allocation. So that's September, that's pretty close.
Yes, and that when Jennifer and I talked about it, because our next meeting in June is informal and then we don't meet in July and August, because council is prorogued, then by the time we're meeting again formally, it's September, and then my contract will be up, so.
And then we might not have quorum. So yes, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's have quorum for that one, please.
Yeah. So do we need a motion for this?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Motion to push this forward.
Jesse, thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Verbal update from the committee coordinator. Oh, it's you again.
That's me, again, yeah. Okay, the Who Do I Call cards are now ready to go, and yeah, the only last thing we have to do is I developed an electronic order form, which we didn't have before, but will make things easier. And so I was to do a test of it on Friday with a nice guy from IT named Vince, and then I couldn't get logged onto the city's website. So but I feel like that may be a problem with my computer. So
No, we were down Friday.
oh, okay, because then I had to wait till Tuesday to email him and say, hey, I couldn't get on there. And then I don't know if I took too many tries or something, but eventually it just wouldn't let me do
The whole
anything.
system was down.
Oh, okay, so maybe then it wasn't me, but yeah, so he gave me some different instructions and they didn't work, but then
Back to your original instructions.
yeah, okay, maybe I should try that.
Yeah, our system was down.
But then I also, like, one of the benefits of being a city employee is that when you have trouble with your computer, you can just contact the IT department. I have to pay for IT service from a company that yeah, like sometimes I gotta wait for days for them to get back to me I'm not blaming the city for that. I'm just saying that as a contractor, that I have to do that, I guess, because I'm not hooked onto the city's. I just have that city email and that's it.
And all I can say is, I don't know the rules behind that.
I don't know either, but
I-
there might be some, like if you have a laptop, I believe that.
Is that a city laptop?
Oh, it's a city laptop, but
And the IT should be able to fix it.
it's not working properly though. And so, yeah, they said I could bring it in one day.
Bring it in.
They could fix it, but
Yeah.
I frankly don't enjoy working on it. Like I just like working at my desktop. So,
Okay.
so that is my own
Yeah,
personal.
bring it in. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah, but it's.
So the
So once
new
that,
cards,
once that form's ready to go, I have an email sitting waiting to send. I'm gonna send it to everyone and say, here you go, order within reason. And then once I have those orders, I'll know how many to get printed. And
is
so
there a minimum quantity?
I don't think so. I don't think if we're doing it in-house,
Okay.
that there is, but I'll just,
We'll find out.
yeah, just so I don't overprint. I figured it's safer to take the orders first. So,
Okay, that's great.
yeah.
Good to hear.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I also did some looking into the community incentive grant program, because maybe like once or twice a month, I get an email, just random, can you give us some money, or do you have any money? And so it's currently not available, but I did, I think when I was sitting in on the last community services meeting, there was some discussion about something.
It's coming.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but there's no actual date though yet, right? Like it's okay, cause yeah, I just feel bad when I don't wanna give people to run around, but I just thought, yeah, it was interesting to know it's not available yet. Another thing, and this, I don't know if you were gonna mention this, we went to a meeting, was it last week? With, the Indigenous Relations Department. There's a woman named Jessica Paley that is their project and initiatives coordinator. And so there is a working group for the murdered and missing Indigenous women, and they haven't met for a couple of years. So they had a meeting, and it was I think it was a good meeting. There was a presentation from a woman from Alberta that has developed a database, like it's called Aboriginal Alert, and it's a like Canada-wide system that it not just randomly, but if people have reported a family member or someone missing to the police, then that they can also list it on that database. And though the database is set up so it will design a poster for you that you can then print off if you can. And which was good because there was someone from Library Services there. So they said that, you know, yeah, people could come to a library and get 25 copies or something. Was that, do you recall that, for free? So I thought that was good. But I didn't have a chance yet to go and look on their website, but I thought I would like to put a link to that on our webpage because I just thought it looked valuable. And when I did look on it a little bit to see that there was, you know, a number of people from Manitoba listed on there. So it's you know, I give that woman credit because she's like, I feel like she's not necessarily a like she said, a marketing person or a public speaker, but she did a good job explaining how she's developed that all herself and doesn't really have any money to operate it, but it looks like it's got value. So I'll send some information around about that before I do anything about it, but and then I've done some work. I met with our new representative, Inspector Rial, last week, and we had a good conversation. And so I was telling him about our idea to have an event probably in the fall where we would invite outreach and patrol groups in the city to not everybody, but the people that are, you know, maybe coordinating it or in charge of it to get together for you know, like I probably on a Saturday have a 1-day session, and I also talked to Mitch Bourbonniere, and so he is going to put the word out to all the organizations that, because he's very in the know with everyone that's doing outreach and patrol work. So and I also have some interest from the biz groups that are doing patrols and like the Downtown Safety Partnership, and there's probably some other assorted people there too. So I still don't have a complete handle on you know, how many people that might involve, but I think if we you know, did something that took, you know, not an entire 8-hour day, but maybe like a 6-hour day or something, feed everybody lunch and have some presentations and a chance for people to get to meet each other and talk about, you know, some things that maybe they like. I think it's a good opportunity to showcase the things that the city can do for those groups, that you know, stuff that's available to them that they probably don't know about, like who do I call cards, for example. And also Mitch was very, you know, thinking, yeah, this is great. We get everybody together and they, you know, can meet each other and, you know, and hopefully maybe it would be the start of something that was a little more coordinated or allowed for some information sharing. And then, you know, it's a good way to pass that all along to council and let them know what people are thinking about. And I would hope that you know, the councillors would come that day and meet the groups that are operating in their wards and see what's going on. But yeah, so I'm still gonna like try and get a handle on how many people that would be. But I think if I could safely say, you know, we could stick $5,000 towards that, we probably could do that within the budget money that we have. But if we can't, we'll see if we can find some somewhere. And that the only other thing I have is our next meeting is June the 25th, and that's an informal meeting. And so while I was at the event the Indigenous Relations Department put on, I was sitting next to the transit safety team and talked with them for a while. So we could have a presentation from them, or we could have a presentation from Jessica from IRD that had organized that meeting. The only thing with Jessica is she said she is involved in supporting the families that are from the, now his name has changed, Jeremy Skibisky. So depending on when that trial would wrap up, that she didn't know if she, you know, she'd be free or not. But but the transit safety team is willing to send someone to come and talk to us if that would be interesting.
That's cool, yeah.
Yeah, yes, because I think we would be interested in what they have to say and what they're working on, because they're definitely a lot busier than they expected they would be. So I can do that, and then we could, also slot Jessica in for some other time before the year is over and listen to her too, because I think we should work more with the stuff that they're doing as well. So that's all I've got, unless anyone has any questions.
You covered a lot of material.
I maybe have a question about the event. Like,
Yeah.
are you looking to increase collaboration across the groups, or like, I guess, what is your focus or intended outcome?
Yes, I would like for there to be more collaboration. Sort of across the board, because I think that there are people that are doing things, probably overlapping in a certain community or area that they could benefit just from knowing that each other is out there. And some of them are, it might just be like a local Facebook group that is, just talking about what's going on in their area or whatever, but they might not realize, we there's other things that we could be getting assistance with if we needed, or if they just wanted to know who else is out there and what they're working on. I think maybe for some of the bigger groups, it's an opportunity for them to highlight the work that they're doing. And I would hope that as part of the day, there would be an aspect of maybe some kind of recognition from the city on the work that, because almost all of it's being done by volunteers. And so I don't think they're necessarily asking to be recognized, but I think they should be for sure. And for them to be aware of the city resources that are available for them. Just maybe throw in a few presentations, although I want to find out from them first what they would like to hear about, instead of just assuming that there's something they would want to know about. So Kevin's going to hook me up with some of the more larger active neighborhood watch groups, so I can find out from them what they might like, and Mitch can give me some ideas as well. So,
Sounds great.
yeah, well, because actually Andre and I had talked about this kind of back right around the time that she left, because she had a bit of budget money that she had to use up, and I'm assuming that's gone now. So I never asked you, but just didn't get on that quick enough. But yeah, like for sure, I would like you to be involved in, once I flesh this out a little bit more. But I think fall would be a good time to do it, because people are too busy once the weather gets nice. So yeah, we'll do something. I just don't know how big it'll be, but I would like to see it, if it worked out, that it would be something we did as an annual event. But we'll see.
Something to look forward to
Yeah,
for all the community groups that are out there doing all the good stuff.
yeah, and I always, when I ran Citizens on Patrol, every fall we would have an annual conference, and the networking that would happen there, and just realizing, we're just not here, us little 5 people in our town doing this by ourselves. There's 1,000 more people out in the province that are doing this, and it's a good opportunity for them to get recognized for that. So yeah, we'll do it.
Cool. All right. So that's your verbal report,
That's my verbal.
and we have to accept this,
Receive it as information.
receive it as information then? All those, someone want to put in a motion for it? Yes. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Okay, so I guess we'll skip over 6 because Looksy didn't join us.
Okay, so number 7.
That'll be you.
Yeah, that's me. There are a long list of things I wanted to update you folks on, because I also missed an update at the last formal meeting. So I think maybe I'll start by talking a little bit more about the projects that we funded through the Building Safer Communities Fund. I mentioned the fund had gone out, and we were excited to be providing grants to organizations locally, and people were curious about what projects we ended up funding. So I'll just kind of give you a brief overview, a very short synopsis of the projects that we funded. So One of them is a project called Strong Hearts Project through Initiative. They are a small nonprofit that's operating in the North End. And they've started a project that focuses on engagement with youth, looking at healing, motivation, and weekly support groups to Indigenous youth that really focuses on cultural activities, creating some kinship and emotional development. It's kind of looking at the mental health aspect of folks that might be gang involved or at risk of being involved in a gang. We're also working with Community Helpers Unite. That's largely a food-based initiative on Jarvis in the North End. And they have opened up an overnight safe space that's also a community kitchen. And so we've funded the expansion of their community kitchen to be 24/7 with an accessible drop-in space for young people with programming to build skills for independent living. So they're doing some volunteering opportunities that can build into job placements through gradual mentorship. We're also funding Downtown Community Safety Partnership that you just mentioned as a key large outreach group. And one of their programs is called Exit Supports. So it's enhancing their Clean Slate program by adding existing support and case management mechanisms to the work that they're already doing, really focusing on youth, looking at early initiation for gang involvement and youth aging out of the justice system, youth aging out of care or who are in the justice system. I won't read all of them, but another couple that you folks might be interested in is a program that's happening through Recreation Services, actually at the City of Winnipeg. They're developing a new recreation program for youth who are exiting the justice system that begins while they're still in the system. So they're developing a new leadership program involving Manitoba Youth Centre to support them through their return. So they're going to do athletic training and weightlifting and courses in the justice system. And then the same programmers and the same staff will then move with them to wherever they're placed in the community and continue doing that programming with them there. So it'll help them kind of make that leap into being in the community. We're also funding a new program with Resource Assistance for Youth, or RAY. They're calling it Grow Ops, which is really focusing on gang and justice involved youth, looking at support programs, one-on-one case management support, doing some employment opportunities, and trying to help people get their feet under them as they're entering the community again. So there's a long list. There's 12 projects in total, fairly wide ranging from mental health supports, job and employment opportunities, recreation and physical activity, trying to look at kind of holistic approaches to supporting youth so that they don't end up in a gang or are successful in exiting a gang.
There was just a story on the news this morning that Ray lost a big chunk of their federal government funding for I think it was for a specific program, but it sounds like, they just don't think they're going to get it back.
Yeah, unrelated to this fund, but they had let us know that was something that was at risk and put one of their programs at risk. Not this one, but another one.
Yeah. Maybe what when all this is done, and then are you going to be tasked with doing an evaluation on all of amongst all your other work? It would probably be interesting to have one of those groups come and talk to us just about, how that funding helped them, or, if there was something else about it that, like a continuation or something, not that we have much power to help people, but still, if there was success there that, it would
So we're working on a fairly extensive monitoring and evaluation framework with each of the organizations. So that will help build their capacity. We're going to help them develop that and identify things that they also want to monitor and see what the outcomes are over time. One of our great staff is going to be working on that. It's not me doing that specifically. And we'll kind of combine all of that into one larger report that we then present to the federal government, the funding body. And those evaluation frameworks, we hope, will also help them secure funding from other sources after this fund has come to a close. Because we know that this is a short-term fund, it will expire. And at this point, we haven't heard any news of it being extended beyond that. So we're hoping that we can help them with that evaluation to show success or impact that will help them secure other funding.
Yeah.
I also wanted to talk a little bit about the data dashboard that we are working on with Innovation and Technology. So we received Innovation Technology received a request to develop a dashboard with information on housing and homelessness and community safety. It's something that they reached out to us then about to see how we can maybe collaborate. A lot of what they're looking at overlaps with the work that our team in community development is doing, as well as the housing office. And so we are working together and pulling in some stakeholders from the community. Teresa Ducharme was there at our meeting with MMWG last week.
Yeah.
And she also wanted to chat a little bit about what data we're going to be including. So we're getting some advisors to help shape or frame the information that we're putting on this dashboard. We'd like it to be visually accessible, providing some infographics and things that are fairly easy to understand with some narrative about like what the data means and a detailed analysis. What we're still narrowing down is how to share that information in ways that will support vulnerable populations while not and minimizing the risk of information being misinterpreted or used in ways that could be harmful to vulnerable populations. Folks who are living in encampments, for an example, there's some risk with demonstrating where encampments are geographically. So we're looking at different ways of kind of sharing important information. And it's great to be working with Innovation Technology on it because they've got a wealth of knowledge and some data scientists who are going to help with the analysis of whatever data we're using. At this point, we're not looking at collecting any new data. It is all stuff that exists through either different data repositories or the census. We're still identifying some other options, looking at maybe that Aboriginal alert and what data they have about people who are missing in Winnipeg, the number of alerts that happen over time. And other maybe like community-based resources that we can draw on of data that already exists that we can maybe use instead of creating some of our own.
Yeah, because I know that like that Bear Clan also does some work around the, like putting that information out and postering and stuff like that. So I didn't want to ask in that meeting if they were working together on anything or not, but
That's a pretty tall order to get all that information together. That's
Yeah. I think the analysis part will be the most challenging of what does this information mean
What does
for
it mean?
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we have a really good team together to figure that out. The timeline that we're looking at is to hopefully have a first draft, so to speak, of it published by January 2025. It'll likely be iterative, so it'll probably change over time. Once we've kind of got something created and up, we might want to adjust or add different information or change how it's being shared. Or it'll likely be something that is internal to the City of Winnipeg for now, knowing that at some point we would like to make some of this information also available to the public. I'm aware of time, but also wanted to maybe comment a little bit more about the response that was provided to the residents of 2440 Portage. So thank you for acknowledging our team and the work that we did there. It was a fairly significant endeavor for us to provide support to those residents. We had a reception center that was open for 3 days. And now people are in hotels. The hotels are being covered by the Red Cross, City of Winnipeg, and the province. So residents themselves aren't footing that bill. And we are anticipating that everyone should be rehoused by June 1st, although coming up with a contingency plan of what will happen for the folks that aren't able to be rehoused somewhere in permanent housing by that time. So our crisis workers are still working very diligently every day to find places for all those residents to go. For context, if those of you maybe don't all know, there was a building that was closed due to structural concerns of it collapsing, essentially because the structure was just so unstable. And so residents were evacuated very quickly, almost overnight, because of the fear of the building collapsing. The residents in the building were a lot of seniors. I think it was 70% seniors. So there was a lot going on that day in the reception center. I'm very grateful for Councillor Dobson for being there and all the other public servants who showed up to provide some support, as well as a number of local residents who came to just help out of the goodness of their hearts. One volunteer, resident volunteer that comes to mind was some person named Sean. Sean, if you're listening, thank you very much for coming that day to help all the residents move their things and keep them company. So that's kind of like the major things that were most recent that I wanted to share. I think there's some ongoing work that will be upcoming again in a few months. So we had done a little bit of work to support daycares in the downtown area. Councillor Gilroy had also had some communications with some of these daycares about ongoing safety concerns, increase in sharps weapons. There was a new potential service coming out of the public service related to the sharps in parks from Councillor Gilroy's work. But we're still trying to support those daycares by connecting them to other service providers like outreach or patrols, trying to help them build the capacity within their staff to be able to respond in ways that are safe to unsheltered residents or people who are seeking shelter in and around the daycare. Part of the work that we're wanting to do is monitor the kinds of incidents that they're experiencing and collecting some information from them. So we've heard anecdotally that a number of these daycares aren't reporting some of these incidents because they either don't know where to do it, feel like they don't have time, or have felt like that reporting was not fruitful. So we're going to be doing some still, again, a short, brief, 1 week long reporting to get a snapshot in time of what kinds of situations the daycares are experiencing. We did one in the winter, knowing that it's fairly slow when it comes to incidents like that, as people are they're not outside as much and just they weren't experiencing as many incidents. Also, the daycares spend more time indoors when it's really cold. So we're going to do another one likely in a few weeks and again in the fall, just to kind of get a better understanding of what's happening and see what we can do to provide extra resources to these daycares in the downtown that are providing care for very small children. Those are kind of the major projects I want to share with you folks today.
That's a very good report. It makes sense too. Any discussion?
Yeah, Barkley?
Just a question about that apartment block on Portage. I'm not clear as to what degree that scenario is within the scope of this committee. We have an awareness of it, but currently it's been gated off with fencing, and you see a lot of, that's not accurate enough. There's a number of tenants that have been in the media talking about a variety of secondary challenges with being evicted. There is a notable degree of lack of clarity as to what's going to happen to the building on social media. So I'm just curious as to everything from, is the building going to collapse if I walk by it, to when am I moving back in? So I'm just curious, to what degree is that scenario within our scope to advise on?
I don't think it's in our scope at all. The actual event was in our scope because it was a safety concern, but now that it's cordoned off, I don't believe it's in our scope at all.
Maybe I should note that part of why I'm providing an update on that is just it's part of the work that our team in community development does. Maybe not specific to the Winnipeg Community for Safety, but wanted to share some of the work that our team does related to emergency social services.
Any other questions? Okay, could I have a motion to accept this as information? Or receive it as information? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Now,
Sergeant.
verbal update from the Winnipeg Police Service.
Surprise.
Good evening. I'll be very brief. I'll be quick here. Not a lot to really discuss or to go over in great detail, but Tracy discussed a little bit earlier about our work that we've been discussing with Neighborhood Watch and how we're gathering some information there and how I'm trying to assist with our information of our captains and getting some of that information for her. Also, over the last while, we helped and as we were partnering the launch of that 529 garage for the bike registration and everything. We're going to be in the community talking about locking up bikes, securing bikes, and bike safety that way. Also, just in the regular realm of our regular crime prevention presentations and actively get into the communities for a lot of the events that are occurring around this time as the temperature is warming up, and how we'll be out there providing our information and engaging with the community. So really not a lot of detail into that, but a lot of programs and a lot of presentations and everything that are happening. So I welcome any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Okay, well, I'm not gonna let you get off scot-free.
All right.
Neighborhood Watch, which part of the city has the most Neighborhood Watch groups?
Oh, I think they're spread out, but I believe, and I'm gonna make a little bit of a guess here and say the south end. So, but I can definitely report back with that kind of information and let you know.
Well, I don't think it was that important that I noted exactly. I was hoping you were gonna say St. James, but
Well, I think Andy had given us some information, and I don't know how far back this was, that there was 199 contacts that like contact assorted people that your department had for us. I don't know if they were all Neighborhood Watch or it was just patrol groups across the board, but I was really gobsmacked to hear it was that many. So
Yeah. The groups come together quite quickly like that. There's not a lot of, and this is why I'm really excited about what you're proposing, Tracy, and what we're putting forward here, because there's not a lot of the back and forth besides information that we're sharing outwards, but we're not getting a lot back as much. So being able to reach out and get the information out for you that we're looking to do here, I think is great to be able to get that started.
yeah. And that's actually it's a common thing, and it's difficult. When I ran Citizens on Patrol, it is kind of the volunteers are a little bit nervous sometimes. They don't know what to report or how to report it, and like sometimes they feel like they're being a bother to report that stuff to the police. And so when I used to do training with them, I would talk a lot about note taking, like proper note taking, and things that you should report, and how to go about reporting certain things, and yeah, that was probably one of the biggest aspects of the training. And once they had the confidence to know how to go about reporting that stuff, and that it's not frivolous or that not going anywhere, then they were happy to do that properly. And yeah, you never know what you're going to come across, but sometimes you wind up having to give a statement to the police, and that can be a little unnerving. And there's that could be possibly something we discussed that day in the session. We'll see what happens.
I have another question. Do you see an uptick in the Neighborhood Watch groups? Or is it becoming more popular now to have Neighborhood Watch in the areas?
I'm not more popular. I'm sure we'll see a few more as the temperature is coming up again, and then people are starting to meet and get together. There's not any more time, not any more specific time when the groups increase or decrease.
Okay.
Probably now, as we're out as well in the community, and we're able to fly the flag and be able to be out and introducing this a lot more and talking to more people, we'll probably see another rise in the interest.
Okay, good. Yeah. And no more questions? Okay. Could I have a motion to receive this information? There's a motion. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, please.
Jesse, thank you.
All those in favor? Meeting adjourned.
Thank
Thank you very
all.
much, everyone.